Record.
We're live.
Wow.
So, let's call the meeting for an
Well,
hour.
no, we can't because Danny just left.
Wait, Danny, 2 minutes. But Danny fue a fumar, he goes to smoke.
No, I don't think so.
Sí, está bien, pero.
I think you went to use the bathroom. Okay,
Did
let's call
you
the
unmute
meeting.
everybody? Because they can't hear anyone on Zoom.
They should be able to now.
No, pero
And they can.
Sí, sí.
Okay.
In the
Okay,
first
well.
minute.
Huh?
Well, first, this is the first time in my particular, my first time in my life here in this board. I think that we have a new equipment to start promote. I think that we are very integrated, all of us. So we start, we see exactly what's going on, we try to do our best. We are here to serve. I have nothing that besides that to serve. I came from Venezuela and I was in a big, I have experience in a club. I don't know if somebody is from Venezuela. It's a big club, Professor, I was the president for that. That I have 96,000 shares and it's a big club. So we try to do my best and all of them, he has a lot of experience and all of them. So we try, we start from now to the future. I don't want to be like the TV back to the future. I want to be back to the future. I'll go for the future. And to change what I need to change, to make what we need. We have a big challenge with the 40 years inspection, that is not easy. So we start, that's why. So after that,
You need to start like calling the meeting.
Call the meeting to order, and I'm calling the meeting to the order at 7:04.
I second it.
Don't have to second.
And you.
Establishment of board members, please state your name for the records.
Daniel Epstein.
Paul Warren.
Mariano Madre
Abraham Cohen.
was in the line.
Unmuting.
Manuel is mute. Manuel is mute. Okay. Manuel,
Yes, Manuel Polivoda.
okay.
Anyone else? From the
Please
board?
just join. Elizabeth just joined.
Elizabeth, where is Elizabeth?
She's coming in now.
Oh, she's coming, okay, so. We're also.
Ana Castañeda.
So Liz, we can see you.
Liz,
You
you
can
can
say
join.
your name
Liz, I said,
to state that you are here present.
state your name for the record, Elizabeth, please.
Elizabeth Ayub.
Perfect. So we are,
You have more.
we have a completely a quorum. Proof of notice, meeting was noticed on Friday, 3/4/2022. Do we waive the reading of the minutes? If yes, make a motion to approve.
Do you want to waive the?
That's your decision. Do you want to
Yes.
waive the reading the minutes?
If not, what happens is that we read the minutes
Okay,
and then we approve them.
perfect.
It's like always the first point of the agenda of the meeting, it's to approve the prior meeting.
Okay.
So you can read it or not. So Danny, you want to have a motion to read it, waive it?
Whatever you guys decide.
And I'll go
Okay, we just did the,
I'd like to put a motion that we read the minutes, please.
go ahead, read it.
Okay.
So we have the minute, I don't have the minute here.
What is the name?
Maybe Paul, do you want to make the honors?
Okay. Minutes of Delvista Towers Board of Directors meeting, Thursday, January 20th, 2022, at 7 p.m. first floor card room. Members present were Regina Goldfine, Alexandra K, Mariana Margot, Daniel Epstein, and Guillermo S. Also present was Woody Manor, our property manager, and Alexander Penier, our admin, IT admin. Meeting was called to order by Regina Goldfine at 7:05 p.m. Establishment of quorum was established. A proof of notice was posted on January 17, 2022. Regina Goldfine made a motion to waive the reading of previous minutes and approve the minutes. It was seconded by Mariana Margot. All in favor. Then it says the new business category, it says voting to approve new newsletter publication policy. Woody Manor read the new resolution regarding new newsletter publication policy and the need for a majority vote of board members to approve messages before they are published on the newsletter. Regina Goldfine made a motion to approve the new policy, second by Danny. All in favor. Adjournment, Regina Goldfine made a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:08 p.m. This was second by Danny. All in favor. Signed by Association Secretary.
All right, for future reference, there's no need to read everything,
Okay,
only the resolutions that were basically achieved during the
Okay,
meeting.
but this is that it's one.
Just for future reference.
got you, sir.
For future reference, but that's okay. Can somebody please make a
Yes,
motion
I
to
will.
approve the minutes?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minute. We need a second.
I second it.
Everybody in favor?
In favor, everybody's in favor?
I am in favor.
Okay.
In favor?
Favor.
Perfect. Everybody in favor.
Not here opposed. You're in favor?
Yes, you're in favor, yes, everybody's in favor.
Wait, thank you, Paul. The minutes?
Okay, so we start. We are ready with the engineer. I suggest to start with them first.
Yeah, seven,
Just,
yeah.
just, you know, take time, and it's something to inform with the Epic. Epic is the enterprise that we received, and it's pretty cool, let's say.
No, we approved them in a prior board meeting. We had some quotes and we decided to go with Epic. Epic is going to do the engineer part of the 40-year certification. They are not going to do any actual work. It's not.
Yeah, I'll try to explain it, yeah.
It's actual work, but
Yeah, we're not the contractor, we're the engineer,
Exactly.
so we manage it, we construction manage it, we design it, we evaluate it, we quantify it. And then provide it to the board award the contractor, then we manage the contractor, make sure the money that you're spending is spent on the building. And then once everything is done, we approve the letter, and write the letter to the city. To certify it.
just to give you a presentation, when we
Aquí está Cohen, aquí está el negro sucio ese.
sorry. We make a point in also put it into the contract to have the company coming here and explaining to the owners what's going to happen, what we can expect from the work, maybe how long it might take. He doesn't know because they need to test the building in order to know. But this is the presentation, so for everybody to have the opportunity to ask questions if needed. So that's why Mo is here. Sorry for interruption.
Absolutely. Do you want me to stand or do you want me to sit, whatever you want, it's up to you.
I can hear it perfectly.
It's perfectly fine, okay, right? So good afternoon, everyone, my name is Mohammed, but you can call me Mo. We're Epic Forensic Engineering, we working with the property assessment, insurance claim, consulting, engineering services, recertification on the building. Every construction process, or the engineering construction process has 3 steps. Step 1 is evaluation. Step 2 is the design and creating the RFP package, request for proposal. And step 3 is construction and construction management. Your building is required by the city due for the 4 years. What is 4 years? After the 4 years in Miami-Dade, any threshold building is higher than 5-story building, the certain buildings that you have the 5-story or more, and a certain occupancy is required to provide a 4-year certification after the 4 years the building is aged. So your building is 4 years. So you call 4-year certification. This certification is required by the city. It's a visual inspection. You come to the building.
or the county?
Is required by the Miami-Dade County, Broward-Dade County. These are the counties they're doing it right now. Right now, they're working on even West Palm Beach County due to the Shanghai Tower collapse. So it is a requirement by the county. Each city has its own form. So the city of Aventura has its own form.
Okay.
So it's basically they want to make sure that the building is safe, and it is we're gonna come to the building, and that's a phase 1 evaluation. So we get to the building, we evaluate your building, we inspect the representative sample of the building that we work with the management and the board of directors, select the units that need to be inspected. We evaluate the balconies, the exterior walls, windows, everything, and then we provide you a report, and we fill out the form to the city with the deficiencies that need to be fixed or corrected, so we can write the letter of completion when the job is done. So right now we're on the phase 1 evaluation. We provided the proposal to the association. During this time, this is just happening very recent, that the 4-year certification regulation is changed for the certification, and there are some correction need to be done. The contract is ready, the association has to, and the board of directors to sign, but we just notified that the regulation has been changed. Also, Danny just showed me he received the letter he received the notice from the city that is notifying everybody on the building. I encourage everyone have time, we can go to the city, and on the city side, the public record, you can download the form and you can see what it needs to be done. The certification is divided into the two basically components, the structural and electrical. So both has to be certified. Each item, each task has its own requirements that is required by the city, and we follow by the form and the requirement that the city requested. Once the evaluation is done, we provide you the form and the report, so you with the estimated quantity, so you know what is the next step that will need to be done. Once that portion is done, this process, assuming if today gets signed, this process normally takes, if you start from next week, normally takes around 2 to 3 weeks to get done. Depend on whatever we can get, what the management can provide us, the list of the unit that we can get in there, coordinate with the residents and all that. Excuse me. Once we provide you the report, then we move to the next part, which is the phase 2. Now we're entering the design phase. On the design phase, we specify the deficiency, whatever is being done, whatever is being quantified. We list the deficiency, we do the design, we write the scope of work, the specification, quantifying, creating the bid tab, and once that is ready, we call a package we call RFP, which means request for proposal. That package basically is a complete package that when you hand it to any contractor, they have enough information that they can visit the site and provide you the cost of how much it's going to cost to do the job. Because we don't do the physical job, we're the engineer, we quantify, we specify, we design, but the contractor is the actual entity that is going to do the physical work. Once that is done, they return the price, we look at the bids, we provide the board with the bid comparison. Board award the contractor. Once the contractor awarded, within the association attorney and your attorney, they're gonna sign the contract. Then we move to the phase 3, construction phase. On the construction phase, we move ahead and they start doing the repair on the location that we mark, and we specify what it needs to be done. They do the repair, we check the work, we approve the payment, we manage the project. And then once the project is done, we write the letter of completion saying the building is certified. And we did, during all this time, we deal with the city, contractor and us, we deal with the city and provide them any necessary documentation required to be done. This is basically, I just explained from A to Z, what it need to be done. On your building. The time, it really depends on, it really depends on the amount of the number of the deficiencies we find on your building. So as of right now, we have not get our hand on the building, it's like a car, you're asking me how long you're gonna take to fix it, I gotta see what's the problem first, then you know how long you're gonna take to fix it, right? So I don't have that time right now, but normally the evaluation, assuming the typical job, it takes 3 weeks for the report, couple of weeks to do the evaluation and coordination with the association. Once based on what we find, we move to the design phase, the phase 2. Design phase normally takes around 6 to 8 weeks to get done. And then based on what we find out, we can advise what is gonna be the construction phase. You might need to change the glass lining, you might need to change the window, impact window, you might need to change the remove the tile. We don't know that until we get our hand on the building and they start evaluating the building, so we can see what items need to be done on the building.
Are there all of them mandatory, all the construction and everything?
Once we get to the building, so your building has a 50-year certification and a construction survey. 50-year certification will take care of the certification, and construction survey is taking care of the more depth evaluation on your building of what it needs to be done, because the building is your asset and you need to protect your asset. Therefore, that contract is already included in our contract, that we're gonna do more depth, actually sounding the contract, not just by visually looking at it. We're gonna sound the concrete, you're gonna look at all the areas, whatever need to be done. Wherever there are items that need to be corrected, we listed as on our bid tab. The bid tab is the bid tabulation with the line item that what needs to be done. And if there is any option that it needs to be added for you, so you can consider, oh, we're gonna do it now, if it's worth it or not, then we provide those options also for you based on what we find and if it needed to get done. Yes, we provide you and we separate it for you. Now,
So it's a good thing that we renovated the whole thing. It's a good thing for us that the building is renovated. So it's a good thing.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, but let me interject. What he's talking about is we need to bring the building up to code. We have a
Yeah,
40-year-old
I
building.
understand.
Yeah, but renovations are a different thing. They don't necessarily include structural or electrical issues that have to
You're
do.
right,
Yeah, so don't think we're out of the woods. Renovations are cosmetic.
you're
This
right.
is structural.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, you're right.
May I interject
Electrical.
I'd like to just make sure that everybody understands that a 40-year recertification in a building does not mean that the building needs to be brought up to code. That's not what 40-year recertification is.
That's not what I
You
understood.
understand that?
No,
What
correct.
you're talking about, the system brought up to the code. If there is an existing on the building that it can structurally stay on sound, then it can grandfather. But if it is something that it needs to be repaired and we need to touch it, then it has to be brought up to the code.
Of course, yeah.
I think what,
I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure I understand the question.
When a building was built in 1981 or 82, that's the code that the building is abide by.
Correct.
Any repairs, yes, will have to be done up to code in the manner that is the code dictates to fix something.
Yes.
However, it doesn't mean that we're gonna have to go with all inside windows in the building. Now we're gonna have more access to handicap space. We have what we have and we keep that code.
Correct.
So it's not to bring the whole building up to code. It's just,
Is what
it's
is,
just to
is
bring
what
in
is
a
being-
recertification that the building is sound structural
Correct.
and electrical.
Yeah, whatever need to be corrected, it has to be brought up to the code. Whatever is, if you're, for example, you have the handicap, and this handicap, there is nothing wrong with it, there is no structural
Yeah,
issue
so
with
we
it,
don't
that the steps are okay, they're fine, and we don't need to touch it, then it can be grandfathered and stay the way it is, it doesn't have to be brought up.
even
Very
though
well
I think it's
said.
a piece
That's
that
what I
we did
wanted to
today,
say.
you will need to do something different.
Absolutely.
Around.
Every building that we build on that year, it has to be followed by the current code. Yeah.
It's important. Perfect.
You have any, in this area, this is the first building that we make the certification, or should we just pass another buildings, the certification under your?
It's a very good question. The last 10 years, I think I've done it pretty much every day.
So there's a lot.
Of course, any building, any tower of your size, a 5 story or higher.
No, it's, besides that,
He's asking if you're about your experience. Our experience is your company regarding the
regarding
40,
your experience
40.
after the Champlain Tower.
Have you done any buildings in our area? I think that's what
Epic,
the president-
epic.
Yes, we do. Like I said, we have a lot of projects we do here. We have Trump Tower, we have Chateau, we have Faina House. We have a 40-year, we have Olympus of the 1,100
After,
unit.
all of them start after the.
After 40
There
years.
are No, the Champlain Tower has nothing to do with it. This is been there.
No, of course, nothing to do, but after, I think that after Champlain Tower, everything changed. Everybody was more.
You're talking about the regulation, yes,
Right.
that regulation that I was talking to Danny and it changed,
That's right.
and we need to take effect. It happened after.
Since
the
last
contract.
Thursday.
Since last Thursday,
Alright.
yes.
So I,
That is because of the Champlain Tower, I can tell you, yes.
alright,
So the regulation of the new 4-year certification is been changed, the regulation has been changed. So there is some correction that need to be done on the contract that we provided. There are some more requirements that the city is asking now.
sir, I'm sorry, I think what the president is asking you, like, since the Surfside issue as a baseline, are there any buildings here in Aventura or Florida that your company has actually worked on with this certification?
Yes,
Am I correct?
yes,
President?
And let me
I
add.
can't tell you, it's a lot, I can count it for you, but it's a lot.
And can you tell us and relate to us, what is the biggest change other than regulation? It's tougher now, you need to go through more scrutiny than before, how is it now?
Yeah, it's just more requirement than asking, for example, on the electrical side, they asking for thermographic evaluation now. Thermographic evaluation as a PE professional electrical engineer, you can do it.
I did
It is
this.
different certification that you need to have in order to provide that evaluation. On the contrary, there are some depth evaluation that we added that it has to be, that those are has to be evaluated and reported to the city. So they just add up to the line items that they need to be added. On an email that I'm gonna provide it to the board, I will mention I give you guys what it need to be done on the new regulation that it's asking, so it can be added to the contract.
So it means that after Champlain Tower, they add more regulation, that,
Yes,
of course, increase everything, right?
yes.
And I understand from Darren that something move on last. the
Yeah,
Last Thursday, that's regulation, yeah.
I sent you this, I saw it in TV.
That's the question.
I may have missed something here, but before hiring Epic, aren't these questions that should have been asked?
This is happened, what the question they're asking is something happened last week, they changed the regulation. It is something that is just the city just sending to everyone, I can't confirm the exact date, but it after we provided the contract.
We asked how many firms were considered and why you picked Epic.
We did about 2 board meetings ago, we approve Epic, we interview 5 companies. So we promise, before we're going to sign the contract, we bring them to do presentation to the tenant, but the choosing of Epic or whatever company it was, it's been done about 4 months ago. And we interview 5 different companies.
And we make a lot of questions, but we wanted to have the company coming here because
To
this is
explain to
going.
us
Yes,
details,
so if
yeah.
somebody else has any other question.
We also went to the city with the manager at the business of Blanche attorney, we went to the city and tried to some coordination to make sure that they don't finance, they don't fine you on everything, so we already stepping to help you.
We don't approve today Epic. Epic has been approved about 5 months ago.
What is your contract sign?
Not yet.
Not
Because
yet.
we promised they're going to do the representation before.
So I understand that everything is ready, but they want to delay the signing of the contract before we start the new board. That's I understand. So that's important. But we have to give them a confidence because there are continuity. There are two guys that are here in the same board that it was, and the treasurer and Danny that they approved the ethic after the, so in this point, I'm like exactly like a owner. I see and I have the confidence that is
So this is just a presentation, a question and answer
That's
from
right.
the residents?
right,
Yes, because
And
it's
then
a lot of
the decision to sign will be made at a later meeting.
right.
No,
No,
the decision made,
It's ready.
No, listen to me. If a contract has not been signed, that will be done at a later date. This is the candidate, this is an opportunity for.
no, we
Q&A.
signed it tomorrow. I want to sign it tomorrow. I mean, we got to approve to sign it already.
So I can respectfully make a suggestion. Why don't all the residents ask any doubts or questions that they have? So that when they spend all night here,
That's what we're doing.
That's all.
That's what we should do now.
I think Fernando had another question.
Yes, my question was, and it's been thrown around, but it hasn't been clear yet. How many buildings do you have that you have experience in 40-year recertification? Not the EPIC, not the Trump Towers, not the Chateau, all those buildings are only 10 and 12 years old.
Right.
A 40-year-old building with a 1981 building code. How many buildings have you had in the past?
Like I said, this is what I focus to do. They are running construction at Epic, so there's a lot of building. I can name it. I can give you even the list. I can send out the email with the list of what we've done before, so you can have a reference of what you have. If that's gonna help.
But the specific, it's the same question that I told you. I would like to know, in a building like this, if 81, if you have some experience in that particular point, because Chateau and Trauma, there are no 40 years.
No, but Olympus is the 1,100 unit is at Hollandale. We're doing it right now.
I
We
It's
have
$15 million.
Coronado also, it's like us, the Coronado.
Yeah, 19, you're doing the 4 years over there, so 40 years and 50 years, yeah. I'm trying to think what we have around you, so.
Flamengo, you do it in Holland?
Yes, so we have another one, there is, we're doing so many, so this is not what we're just doing now, there's so many buildings we're doing. And I specifically in the last 10, 15 years, we focus on working only on this strip of the Collins Avenue and by the ocean. So 90% of what I've done was just doing the construction 4-year certification on all the towers, starting all the way from Miami, going all the way to the Palm Beach. So we can give you a reference, we can give you a list of how many jobs we've been done, absolutely not a
The
problem.
same category as us, that's what.
It's same or more, with certification is a very, the certificate, of certification always is the simple one that it can be done, the problem is when you find the deficiency. We're
Exactly.
forensics engineer also, we're forensics engineering, so the difference between the forensics and a normal engineer is the engineer come and look at it, you see there's a crack, and he says, okay, so this crack has to repair, give you a repair protocol. We're also forensic engineer, we look at the crack and we find the root of the cause in order to provide a solution. So that's why we're very confident on what we do, and what we're doing on this building is what we've been doing it. I personally, in the last 10 years, 15 years, and Epic also has been there. I think it's been there for like.
I know you on the business. I see you all the time in this. We interview 5 companies: Epic, NV5, Falcon. The people did the pool upstairs, and S&D. NV5 is one of the biggest companies, and you know it.
Let me ask.
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. When we talked to NV5, there was interesting only to manage this building and hire them. So that's why I felt very confident to use them.
Also just.
So if I took NV5, they put 30% overhead on them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Has your firm ever been sued for malpractice?
If our firm is ever been sued,
For malpractice?
no, not as far as I know. We actually would like we did the 550 litigation. So basically, we actually,
I'm not talking about litigation. Has your firm ever been sued for professional malpractice?
not as far as I remember, no.
Okay.
Not as far as I,
Has your firm ever been filed a complaint by DPR for your engineering license?
not as far as I know.
Well, you tell me that, but you either know or you don't know.
I don't know. I can call, I'll try to get the
Are you
letter.
one of the
I
principals
can
in the-
send you the email for you, but no.
Okay, are you
no.
one of the principals in the company?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I'm the senior project manager for the project and I'm running this project.
Well, I think that would be good to know.
Absolutely,
Give us more
absolutely.
confidence.
Absolutely, and also just remember, we actually as an engineering firm, we're, like I said, we're forensic, so we work with the attorney.
I
And
understand.
we make the claim on the developer side. If any engineer make a mistake or any contractor made a mistake, they come to us, we're like a second engineer.
But I
Evaluate
understand.
and to say.
I don't
what-
cut you off, but malpractice is one thing, DPR complaints, as you know, is another thing.
Yes.
And I think if you'd be kind enough to tell our board if that has ever happened to your firm.
As far as I'm working on the company, yeah, I can get that letter for you.
That's
I
how
will,
we
yeah.
find out.
Not a
And
problem.
we can.
I can tell you right now, currently we don't. No, I can tell you right now, it's not gonna. I can tell you currently we don't, and we don't, as far as I know, yes.
All right.
So-
completion for the 40 years of certification that you're doing now? How many have been completed?
Have been couples, I can't count it, it's a lot.
Okay, and how many is ongoing currently?
Currently, we have, I can count those out, so we have, on Brickell, we have Brickell Harbor, we have here, we have Olympus, and those are some of the projects I have.
No, no,
Remember, we have so many more projects, yeah, I have like about 7, 8 projects myself. And then we have other project managers that we have also under them, that they have other projects.
And those buildings are?
Those, what
The
is
one that you're working on currently?
the building that I'm doing for 4 years right now is the Olympus right here, is a 1,100 units, $16 million.
Mhm.
We have the Palm Bay Yacht Club, is the $25 million, 4 years and certification construction, slab deck, Palm Bay condo, that's another one we have. Delvista is this one. Brickell Harbor, the other one that is in the Brickell.
It looks like we have 2 follow-ups to share with the community.
Yeah, absolutely, like these are,
Which are
if
the,
you're asking for the confidence, yes, this is what we do, and we're very confident we have it, and we like the companies that Danny just made, those are some big companies. Like MV5 is one of the biggest in the country, and they still hire us to do that. I also like to mention, we're the SI, so we're the special inspector. So we don't hire a special inspector. So what happens is, if you don't have a special inspector, like company, I don't want to bring the name because I don't like to use the negativity, but the competition that you have, they are with this job, but they are not SI. Basically, that means when they get to the construction, for any particular concrete issue that we have to remove and apply, they need to hire an SI, and that's like somewhere from $250 to $400 per hour. We are SI, that means we write our own report and we report it to the city, and when the job is done, we write our own letter of completion and we provide it to the city. So everything is in-house, we do everything in-house, and there is 658, only 650 SI that we have in the state.
I have a comment, no, just a comment. I'd like the board to get an answer
Less than
on
700.
how many malpractice lawsuits
we already have
Okay.
the follow-up with.
and how many DPR complaints have been filed against the
Absolutely,
firm.
saying that.
Other than that, I'd like you to consider that. That's my only, it's a great presentation. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, I just wanted to have to be written so you know that you don't have it, but I'll just. tell me-
We expect you to know everything that happens in Epics. And also the idea was not only to scrutinize Epic, but also to maybe you have questions about how it's going to be our life where this is happening. So that's why also, and it's not like go in that direction, the questions, but we addressed a lot of questions here, maybe in the phone if somebody wants, because we already
May I
go
just, may I just
25
add,
minutes.
may I just add a question, please? I understand you are the senior project manager, but could you be so kind as to share what are your professional credentials?
I'm a civil engineer.
Okay,
I'm a civil engineer and a senior project manager. I've worked, I studied here. I graduated, top of my class, number 1 student from FAU.
With your license, you have license with,
Yes, I'm, like I said, I'm a civil engineer. Our office we have more than about 20, so Epic is not one person, it's a company. We have analysts, we have a civil engineer, we have a professional engineer, we have a structural engineer, we have a PhD, a structural engineer, they all included.
but your credentials is specifically.
And here, working on your project, or will be the senior project manager for your project.
But your professional credentials are.
Civil engineer,
engineer.
I'm the civil engineer.
So you have a PE license, correct? You have a PE
No,
license?
I'm not holding the PE license. Like I said, I'm an
Okay.
engineer. I'm doing this, that's why I'm the senior project manager, and we have the professional engineer who will be assigned, for your project, we're assigning a structural engineer, an SI, and a special inspector, because your building is more than 5-story high. So
Right.
we're gonna have the special inspector as your EOR, engineer of record for your project.
What's a PE, Liz? I'm sorry, I'm not. familiar with it.
Professional engineer, professional.
Yeah, so engineer have the license, holding the license called professional engineer. They can sign and seal as long as there is not anything involved with the building 5-story or high structurally. When you get to that, then the PE cannot sign it. The PE has to hold another license called a special inspector license. The special inspector license, there is about 650 to 700, which we hold that license. And for your project specifically, we will assign a special inspector for your project. So all of your contribution, everything, it can be corrected, and you don't have to hire another engineer to come and charge you hourly for that.
That's one of your advantage.
That's exactly, that's why I'm here. I can bring like 10 people with me. So behind me, there is a team of analysts, inspector, that basically we're gonna have a team that is gonna come evaluate the building. We're gonna have an engineer doing the evaluation. We're gonna have an electrical engineer evaluate your electrical on your building, the balconies, and then those things goes back.
All the items to obtain the certification at the end.
Exactly, absolutely. There are electrical engineer involved,
The
structural
only 2
engineer
points
involved.
that we need to clarify is what the judge says.
Yeah.
That's the point of the malpractice or whatever. In
Absolutely.
order to be covered, it's very
Sure,
important
not a
for
problem.
us. After that, we don't choose your company, but your company is just.
The company is the
Yes,
choose.
it's
No,
done.
no. The
Let's
company,
finish.
let's make it clear. The company has been chosen already.
Right.
Yeah, but let's make it clear, until you sign the contract, 2 things that I would ask the board respectfully to consider, DPR complaints, which is Department of Professional
It's
Regulation,
very easy.
and malpractice. And if you find something that is a disqualifier, I'd ask you to consider and have a special meeting to talk about that.
Not a problem, not a
All
problem.
right,
Do we have one more question? We
That's
already
just one
27 minutes on this.
And just to confirm with that, sorry, when we went ahead and to be one of the competitive, we've been asked those questions and we responded, but I want to make sure this time we write it so next time someone asks. That's the whole reason that I'm asking to just send us an email so we can respond. So because I don't want to answer the same question later on.
Last question?
Just a general note here. We have 2 towers in the center court here, which is the common areas.
And the
One
same
tower
floor.
was obviously built first and then the second tower. Does this have any bearing on the date of the certification that we have to present to the city? Do we need extensions? Are we gonna be doing both towers at the same time? We're starting with the oldest first, then move on to the next one with the common areas?
Yeah, so the idea, so you're talking about the phase 3 construction when you get to the construction, right? So you just wanted to make sure that I understand. So you're talking about when we get to start doing the building, that's the construction phase.
Well, more than the construction, we need to make sure that the city is aware that we're targeting the oldest tower first and submitting the documents for that tower. Because
Which
that
is the
tower's got its own.
which is the owner, the number 1.
Because
I think
weren't
number 1
built
is the first
together.
tower that was built.
One is built much before, and he's right.
Probably
he's
there or
asking.
something, and we may be already lapsing the time of the 40 years on the older tower.
I would say,
The
no,
certification to be applied for and begin the process on the oldest tower. I don't know if the county or the city is taking both towers or
Yeah.
one building project.
So I would like to address this for a minute. So number one, the building was built in 82/83. So we have probably just hit the mark for that 40 years. That's number one. Number two, about 3 months ago, or a little less, me, Mo, and Roberto Blanche, Association Attorney, met with the official at City of Aventura in order to explain to them that we're in the process of hiring, we're engaging in a contract with an engineering company, because we did receive the letter just like any other building around here in terms of being in compliance with the 40 years recertification. What they told us, or at least that's what I remember hearing, I was the only building that took the initiative to meet with them and to show them that we are going in the direction of being in compliance. And that's why they actually give us an extension, knowing that we are
Oh,
working.
here you
We have
go.
an extension.
Here you go, yeah, that's so smart.
yeah, now, what is gonna happen now is once we get the contract
Thank you.
signed,
Thank you.
our dedication to this job is, we have not, we can confirm, but we have not charged anything at this time. We never charged, we've been meeting multiple times, 5, 6, 7 times with the board, with the management, we went to the city, with your attorney, Mr. Blanche and Udi, to address all that. Once we get the contract signed, we actually gonna provide a letter to the city, let them know that we're on the process of the evaluation, and if there's any extension that need to be done in order to make sure you don't get fined.
Yeah.
So we will provide that, and as an advantage that your SI, special inspector, that's a very strong case.
Thank you, and just to reiterate, if we don't file, or if we didn't have that extension or file on time, we would go into a unsafe building code enforcement.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure we're away from that.
That's only if the county inspectors find that it's an unsafe structure.
Or the engineer is not on the.
Right, and you're entitled to an unsafe structure quasi judicial hearing, which can then be appealed to the circuit court. That's as far as the law as I understand, am I right?
When they give you so the step that you start is, they give the first letter you get is you have to 90 days to comply, which you already got extension on that. So the second one, you can't just get it, you have to have an engineer write a letter, most likely to get. Then they give you 180 days to finish the job, which is impossible. So we're gonna get another extension for that, once we find out the deficiency and we send out the form, we tell them what's going on with the building, and then we can buy time to evaluate, to hire a contractor to do the job, and whenever the job is done, we have to send them the design of what it needs to be done, and the contractor has to send the schedule, it's gonna show the cost and how long it's gonna take the project is done. So we're with you the entire process.
Let me ask you a question about that. Are there certain options once we sign a contract to the extent or the breadth of the inspections, or is it a one package deal?
I didn't get the question, so
Well, let's say that I've seen contracts before.
Yes.
Where there are multiple options as to what the association can hire you for and the scope.
Yes.
All right, has that already been decided by the board? I guess that's more for the board.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
We have several
Yes.
contingencies.
Okay, but is the board already decided what option to go with?
Yes,
Okay.
they all decided to go what to go with, and all the options is what is provided.
So it's almost.
We're going to go from 1 to 4, all 1 to 4. Now, let me, 1 second. We did everything. The last board and this board, and you have a legal over here. The moment we got the letters or anything, we went right away to the city. You guys can go to the city and ask them. More than this, I wasn't there. They told the legal and the manager, we had the fastest response than anybody else. Quote, I live in the building and I care about the building. And this I'm not going to.
But have we chosen the most comprehensive option to look at the building structural necessities? That's my question.
We did it with 5 companies.
That's not what I'm asking.
What?
I'm asking with Epic, have we chosen the most comprehensive option to look at the structural issues of the building?
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes,
That's my question.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and more than this,
Excuse me.
yes, 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 relax, 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 relax.
No, you answered, go answer my question.
Yes. the answer is yes. There's a-
Relax.
Daniela has a
problem.
question,
Relax.
please.
Yes, I want to ask you, how often do you find that there is nothing to fix?
How often do you find a 40-year-old car and nothing wrong with it?
No, no, often. I can show you with my own eyes. We have things to fix.
So the question is,
It's a possibility.
no, it's not. It's not. Can you show me a 40-year-old person that has nothing wrong with it, never been inducted or a 40-year-old car?
Yes, yes, of
So you have
course. Those things happen, but that's
That
not
should
the
be
point.
magic stuff.
The point, that's okay.
So the answer is.
I'm an architectural designer, so I understand a little bit also on the building. I know that some people have some issues on the building, but are you going to charge one time or every time you find something is another charge?
Okay, so just to make sure we're on the same page, because I know where this question comes from, we're talking about the cost involved.
Yes.
We're not doing the physical job, so your project is $1 million or is $2 million, we don't do that physical job. We're only providing you information so you can get it fixed.
They are the experts.
So we're the engineer, we're not the contractor.
But you need to be.
Did I answer the rest of the question?
They're going to mark on the
You
building.
know what, I got a question. So if you're just gonna provide us with the information, are you going to recommend the contractors that are gonna work here? And what are we paying you guys to do other than sit here and say that I'm doing your 40-year inspection? And the way I understand it, because I was the president here 2 years ago, and I looked into this shit, and it said, so.
Can I ask you?
And I said that your company, all you're gonna do is come in, do an assessment, and then you're gonna hire subcontractors to come in to fix whatever needs to be
No.
done in the building.
No.
Is that right?
Let me answer, because he already addressed it. They are going to provide only the inspection design, they are not going to be involved in any of the work. We are going to decide ourselves who is going to be a contractor. They are going to help us with the RFP and.
They're going to be, they're going to be the
scope.
project manager
That will be important.
as well.
What need to be done?
Okay, so let me tell you, you were not on the first of the meeting.
If we cannot just wait for somebody to finish a sentence, there's no way we can communicate each other.
Yes, please.
We-
Otherwise,
we-
it's gonna last 5 hours.
There's no rush, and if you want to talk, you can talk, but
I'm
you know, I'm answering this because he already addressed it. But he's going to provide the inspection, the design, he's going to provide the scope for the RFP. He's going to level the scope and say, okay, this guy is providing you with something completely different to this one. So it might look cheaper, but it's not, because he's not doing Y, X, and Z. And then we make the decision. It's not them. And finally, they are going to control and do the project management for the actual work. So they are not going to receive a check for
Basically,
any.
what they're gonna do is be a consultant to the association to give you guidance on.
No, they
what
need
we
to
do.
certify. They need to certify. If they don't, if you need to hire an engineer to say, okay, this is my findings to a city. This was addressed, and I can say that it was addressed. I
It's
checked.
the same thing what your guys, when you was the president, did with the other company.
Mhm.
It's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. The difference here, we checking and we don't let him lose. That's the biggest difference over
The
here.
other difference, they're not contracting, the subcontractor.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
And I don't get over here a guy doing a window. Or, no, no. No, excuse me. I'm in the board. No. Nobody going to come with attitude like this over there. Nobody. That's past. I'm here, I'm watching the building.
Good.
They vote for me and that's it.
Okay.
And the same treatment I got, I'm going to give.
Okay, we've been 40 minutes on this, and we need to.
That's a good 40 minutes. That's a good 40 minutes.
Yes.
Do you want me to give my,
If we don't,
do you want me to give my response to him?
yes, absolutely.
So basically, thank you for that question. That's a good question. We're gonna be with the board and with the association from A to Z. We're evaluating, you were not on the first when meeting started, if I remember. So we isolated 3 phases. We're gonna be with you from starting, evaluating, providing the.
Excuse me, sir, you're repeating yourself.
Okay.
That's it.
Danny, be patient.
No. Excuse me. I have people, it cost us money. We wait 10 minutes. I don't want to waste anybody more time.
Okay, I think
Everybody is saying,
The question is, Mariano, since it's been answered and beaten.
that's it. It's enough. It's enough. I don't want to sit here. I spend hours and everything.
Okay. Take it easy. No, thank you very much for coming here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. If you have any question.
Put
about the management.
We have everything with legal done and everything, and we're going to sign legal check.
We
were to review the things we said we were going to review, and then proceed.
Please provide what the.
Okay.
Yeah, everything, as soon as I receive the email, I will respond to that email.
Right.
No worries.
As soon as we respond, everything is okay, we continue.
Okay.
Sorry for all this, but you know.
No, after they have a request.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's nothing to do with you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Absolutely.
And you know what, one more question before you guys leave. Are the contract that the association is going to sign with the company, will the unit owners be able to have a copy of that?
So basically, when the contract is being provided to association, it goes to your attorneys. Is already, that process is already been going back and forth.
And will that be-
You-
DCM will be-
No. Let me tell you something.
Hey,
Everything is
please.
clear. Whatever we sign, you can come the next day, take it. Take it.
Listen, this is a new board. We are here to protect our.
Absolutely.
So if we are here. Because we vote somebody and we be elected. So we don't need to show nobody that if you need to show you, are you right? You send me a letter and we show you exactly everything it will be.
I give it to you. You don't have to write. I put it under your door. I promise you here in front of, I put it under your door.
President, answer my question. Let's go on with our agenda.
Anyone can ask the vote of any contract.
All right, that's Florida statute. Let's go on to the next item.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Anything you want, Carol, come knock on my door. Anything you want.
Thank you for coming.
Anything you
Can we
want.
move on to the next agenda item, please?
Anything you want.
Yes, everyone online, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Glenn Frank with us?
Yes, I'm on Zoom.
Great, thank you, Glenn. So the next item on the agenda is the laundry and dry machines. I'd like to give a quick explanation on that agenda item. This is an item that was already voted on with the previous board. With reference to the renewal of the laundry and dry machines. There were 3 companies that submitted proposals. And the board decided to stay with the CAC, which is the company that currently provides us with the services. However, what prevented the board from moving forward with signing a contract was disagreement on the front load machines versus top load machines. And it stayed as an open subject until this board meeting. Now, Glenn Frank works with CSC. He's here with us today. If anybody has any questions pertaining to the difference between the two machines, the front load or the top load.
I have a question. Can we have a machine where we can put a softener in the machine? Because those machines, you can only put the soap and let it go. We cannot put Clorox, we cannot put a softener. Those are very antiquated machines. We need something more up to date.
Yeah, well, you'll be getting new machines, to answer your question.
Okay, the machine will have the service that I'm requesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So the machines, because our question is like, the machine that Daniel would like to have would be the advanced machine that gives us the option to add bleach or softener to the load if she so decides. Because the reason why I'm specifying this, I've seen the machines that we have as a sample here on Tower 2, and I didn't see that. So I'm not sure if you understood what she was asking and what we will.
You say we're gonna get new machines, so the new machine.
All the new machines arrive with
Simple,
the.
bleach and softener. Is it
That's
available?
very easy, it's not so complicated. You have a space to put the bleach or the soap. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Yes.
Okay, I
So
have,
here,
excuse
the
me, I have,
discussion is to open
excuse
the
me,
way or this way.
excuse me.
It's something that we don't need to waste the time here.
Okay, Mr. President, are they gonna be top loaders or side loaders or whatever?
For me, it's the same, for me, I love.
No, hold on a second. It's not the same. Hello?
No, it's not.
Hello?
It's not the
It's
same
not the
either.
same.
It's not the
It's not-
same.
Hold on a second. Let me get something in here because I made a statement and through WhatsApp in reference to side, front end and top end. The problem with the front end machines is that if you lean on the front, on the door, you deviate the door, and if it's in a wash cycle, you're gonna get water all over the place. And it's gonna be constant repairs on that
Correct.
machine, okay? What we need to do is look into the top loaded machines because there's a tendency to bend over and use the door when it's open to lean on. And that's gonna be constant repairs for front load machines.
Irrelevant.
That is what is one
Irrelevant,
comment.
irrelevant.
No, it's very.
No.
Excuse me, I'm trying to talk.
Gentlemen and ladies, it's a simple answer. Is it gonna be top or
It
side?
should be top, it should be
No,
top.
but let's hear from the gentleman.
Eddie, wait a second.
May I talk?
Eddie, yes.
May I
Can you
please
speak?
talk?
Okay.
Thank you.
It's 8 o'clock.
I personally think that it should be top loading. It should not be front loading. Front loading has several issues among what he mentioned, Manuel. I personally have had issues with front loading where the water will spill. People sometimes will jam things. They'll open things up. The water will spill into the floor. It will cause a flood. That will cause leaking. That will be a problem unto itself. So I'm assuming, yeah, go ahead.
You're an expert, can you provide?
Right.
According to our discussion here?
Yeah, basically, what happens with front loaders is if they fail to drain for mechanical reasons or for misuse, first of all, the door locks on the new, especially on the new machines. So you cannot open those doors until they're serviced for safety reasons. Second of all, you're right. If it fills up, if it doesn't drain properly and you open the door, the water can definitely flood out. Where the top loader, that's not going to happen because it's standing upright. So that's pretty much
Just a follow-up, Glenn. Just a follow-up. In your experience, how often the problems that Manuel and Elizabeth pointed out happen to one or the other? Or it's in other words, if we happen to choose the front load machines, these problems that Manuel and Elizabeth explained are likely to happen and likely to have any thick dust. Are there some very frequent problems or no?
It depends on the people, and you never know if people are gonna abuse things, right? But per the examples of leaning on the doors, because it's human nature. So you'll have less of those issues if on a top loading machine than you would on a front loading machine to answer the question. That's why I wasn't saying anything, because you were getting, you were having good feedback and good discussion. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much the answer. I mean, are you gonna have drainage problems all the time? No, but when you do, it's gonna be obviously different with a front load machine than it is with a top load machine. So did that answer your question?
Yes, that's the board to take a vote already.
Right.
You know the advantages and disadvantages, let's move on with it.
Yes, that's it.
I've been living here for 22 years, they're all working fine.
Right.
He's obviously telling you, you're gonna have less problems with top.
We
loaders.
decide-
Sir, am I correct in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank
that's the
you.
answer. Take a vote.
That's it.
So I vote for top loader.
Is there a motion first, I think?
Yeah,
Mr.
yes,
President,
it's a
we need a
motion.
motion in a second.
No, Al, you can't tell the board what the fuck they're voting on.
Listen, let me tell you something, either you're drunk or on drugs, either leave, you're making noises back there that everybody here knows, and you're using obscenities, this is the third time. If you can't control yourself, get a muzzle and go hide, and now you're giving me the finger. You know what, you're an embarrassment to the community and you're an embarrassment to the service if you ever serve, which I think you did.
Oh, Dutch, Mr. Dutch. take it
My
easy.
apologies.
No, it's okay, listen. Okay, everybody here, you first of all, with respect, you don't need to love. We are so close. This is the first one. Second one, if you want to say something, there is a regulation how to say it.
Yes, but you know what?
No,
He-
that's
He
it.
can talk over
He doesn't-
anybody that
he
he wants
do
to
his
talk
right.
over.
He
And
says,
you
us,
guys
we
just
made
don't
the
give a
motion.
shit. I'm not listening to it, so you know what?
Respectfully, Mr. President, I just asked for somebody to make a motion on that.
Yes.
To make a motion to vote or?
Yes.
I think Liz Liz tabled the motion and I'll second the motion.
Danny,
Well, I'm for front.
are you?
I'm from front.
Okay,
Top load machines then.
okay. So we are top, are you from?
Okay, so that's how many?
Okay, excuse me.
Top.
Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, we need to follow procedure.
Correct.
Liz, please make a motion.
Right.
Please make a motion.
I make a motion. Who all in favor
Make a
of,
motion for what, Liz?
For what, please?
For top.
I make a motion for top loading.
And I have a second from anyone.
I'll second Liz's motion.
Okay, all in favor?
I'm against.
Okay,
Aye. In favor.
You're in favor?
I'm in favor.
okay.
Upload.
So everybody in favor except for.
Okay, what's the guy name?
Glenn.
Glenn, please make sure if the dryer going on the left side.
No, I'll talk to Devin about it.
Okay, I want to speak.
No, I'll tell him because I've been working with him.
No, yeah, correct. Just to answer your question, is they've been working with Devin, who's the operations manager. They have a direct line to Devin, who's doing everything exactly the way you want to do it. And they will be opening up the way you're stating, the opposite way, Udi, if you can.
Okay, that's all I want to make sure.
Okay,
No problem.
Mr. President, did the motion, Kevin?
Yes,
Thank you.
that's it. We are.
You need to say that. You need to say the motion
Ah,
passed,
okay.
it's approved.
The motion is approved, everything is from the machine.
No front, but upper.
Up. I'm sorry, up.
And then there was one.
Top load.
Top load
Sorry,
machine.
and it's one against the against, but it's approved up, and that's it.
Glenn, thank you very much for.
Thank you very much for staying with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you, Glenn.
We appreciate your business. Thank
I
you.
want to tell you something. In my floor, there is a 10 years old doing laundry. If we have not a top load, we're gonna have catastrophes.
But it's done, it's okay. All I want to tell you, I have in the 18th floor, a front loader. It's doing laundry 10 times better and it is not a problem.
Isn't this a movie?
But it's over, I accept.
It's finished, you got what you wanted.
Next point in the agenda.
Next
Let's
one.
add that the problem with the cable, the internet.
What happened?
Right.
Internet, it's your own private, it's your private. Nothing to do with the building.
Let's continue with the agenda, please.
Do you have any more questions for me or should I
No,
leave?
that's it, you're ready. You're free to go. Thank you very much. Sorry for.
Oh, no, thank you. We appreciate your business. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Tu peux choisir quelqu'un d'autre.
Okay, so let's continue. We write here appointment of a legal liaison. It's very easy. We see that before, in the past, after the experience, anytime 1, 2, 3, we call to the lawyer, and the lawyer puts his cloak and it's money.
Yeah.
So to avoid this sort of story, and to be clarified, it's easy. If somebody of the board wants to call to make any discussion or whatever with the lawyer, first let us to the board in the face of the president, and then me or the general manager, the Uli, and we decide all this yes or no. So we need to avoid a lot of money in that point. That's it. Very easy. It's very easy, and we try to keep the money. And we saw in the past a high. We suppose that we decrease the invoice of the lawyers. We respect the lawyers and know that the lawyers live from this, but we need to live also to survive for the 40.
No, there was another problem in the other board because we was divided, so everybody took, but I agree with you. I make a motion to make the president the legal liaison. Okay, second.
I second the motion.
Who's in favor?
I'm in favor.
Liz, Danny, Emmanuel,
Favor, in favor.
Liz. Liz se fue.
No,
No, it's
it's,
Liz. Quítale a Liz.
Yeah, you're muted.
It's muted, sorry. If you don't speak Spanish, we have 2 years to learn. I learn English and you will learn Spanish, or Cuban could be also. This is the second language, right or not?
Yes, sir.
No, she's not there.
We don't need to vote for
Okay, we vote for it. We have,
Okay.
so we have,
But Liz, okay.
she's not there, so we have me, you.
The motion passed.
Okay.
Motion
The
passed.
motion passed, we are for instead.
I'm here, sorry.
Okay, Liz, are you also in the motion? I think so.
Yes, I'm in the motion.
Okay, so we passed the motion, everything right, it's recorded.
Unanimous.
We love everybody.
Okay.
Okay, next, no, let's start to the pet inventory, that it's very easy and very fast.
No, just go with the
Okay.
agenda.
Perfect, so the next point is main pool upgrade discussion. As we see, everybody use the pool, we need to make a renovation of the pool.
Pool.
Of the pool, sorry, of the pool. I saw, if you are in the famous WhatsApp, you see some pictures that's really, it's not the type of life that we need to, for not too much money, we can renew and put something, to make our life easy when we go in over there.
You're talking about the furniture or the pool?
No, we're talking about furniture and everything that we need to fix it
Furniture.
to be nicer.
Yeah, not the pool itself.
No, the pool, it's okay. And I understand the pool, it's okay.
Yes, there's 3 items that we are thinking about
Yeah,
putting
decoration.
into consideration.
Just
It's
a decor.
furniture, the
Decoration.
canopy,
Parasol.
and analyzing a way to put some grills, permanent grills, so we don't need to wait until any Sunday.
Now, we don't need the shuffleboard, you should take it out. We can do
Then
something.
I think that we need, if,
It's not for making a decision here
Right.
today, what's going to in and out.
what we
it's
will
just
do,
to
we
express.
present, what we want to discuss to tell everybody know that we are on the way to review all to make a new face.
To renovate.
Review to make a new face
Yeah.
and the furniture and everything into the pool.
Yeah.
Do we have the budget for it?
It's a good question. We have the budget, here's the treasurer.
We have reserves, part of that can be funded with reserves. And if we
Mr.
don't have,
President, I don't mean to cut you off, Mariano. but why don't you vote on looking at what that would cost?
No, that's the idea.
Yeah.
We are not going to make a decision.
No,
on
no, no,
budget
let me explain
today.
myself with all due respect.
Yeah.
Just vote on it, that you need it, and then vote to do a study on what it would cost.
Right.
And then, in a meeting next month.
I
decide-
agree with that. I agree with that.
That's what, that was the original,
Okay.
but,
And that's the reason for this.
right, but in Lisa's, the lady says that they make a question, it's okay, it's right. But
Yeah,
now, at this moment, it's only to inform that we start to present at a.
Looking and study what we can do.
That's it.
Yes, but
let
if
let me, may I make a, may
Come
I-
on, do we have any?
If
Yes.
the study shows.
We have some, yes.
You have some.
We have some.
Let me
That's what I
make a
wanna know.
suggestion. What I would say is give your requirements to the manager.
Right.
Let him come back with what it would cost or an alternatives. And then in a future meeting, we can decide, can we afford it? And maybe we have 2 or 3 options on the quality. and the
Right,
quantity
and we
and
show the quality and we, exactly. The main point today is only to inform that we want that we start with this point, that's it.
Sounds like a
Now-
great
Right,
idea.
and may I make a suggestion that within our internal choices of how we're doing this, you know, that area of what we're pretending to do is the grilling and all that is next to, in proximity to the pool where there's water. Everything obviously has to be by code. We have to probably get some kind of city inspectors to approve or give us options, right? And so we're obviously gonna look into all of that before we make any decisions.
And we have a major problem over there if we'll be doing by the pool, because
Right,
going to be a debate which side we're going to put it and in which
Correct.
side the smoke going to go. So.
And then one suggestion also to look at, let's have Udi ask our insurance carrier so that we don't have an.
They
accident
checked
there.
it, they checked it, they checked it.
We present at the time some alternatives to do it, that's it.
thank you.
You know what?
Thank you, Elise.
We actually approved, if you look through the minutes of Delvista, we approved the board at that time approved to put grills over there. We did the study. We talked to the city of Aventura. So what you guys as a new board, what you need to do is go back and look at the things that we already did. And the board approved money for us to put permanent grills over there. On the thing. So you know what? Just do your homework. And then we already did a lot of the
We take a
labor.
look and let's see if
They didn't do nothing yet, we approved, they didn't do nothing. It's okay
let's
with
not get into
me.
the debate.
No, I'm not getting to debate.
Let's make a motion and move on.
Right.
Don't move on. Don't stop this, don't stop
I don't
it.
believe we need to make any.
I make a motion that we study, that we make a proposal to look, to explore the purchasing of pool accessories.
Okay, the agenda.
I second the motion.
Excuse me for a minute. The agenda does not call for a vote. The agenda is calling for a discussion. And
However, we can make a decision to explore each of the options.
And I second the motion.
And I,
Was in favor?
I'm sorry, what was, you wanted us to ask?
Manuel, are you second, are you in favor or Liz?
all in favor, everybody in favor.
Yes, I favor it. I'm in favor.
Manuel?
Yeah, I'm in favor. I'm in favor.
Okay, so everybody's in favor, the motion is, it's done.
What was the motion again,
Who
please?
was saying something, please?
I'm done.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The motion, Robbie, is for us to move on and explore the options and study the possibilities of this.
Right, that's it.
Okay, very well.
Thank you.
Well, and now the next point. Gym AC replacement. You know that in the gym we have, yes, we have three proposals.
Yeah, the commission died.
Right. So we have three proposals here. There are two similar and a small difference, and one is considered different.
So, Udi, how do you want to go over the proposals, any differences? How do you want to do it?
I look at the proposals and when this is the first one, the one for the maybe $6,000.
What's the name of the vendor?
Nobles Electromechanical.
Okay.
How much?
6,000.
Actually, they want to put a pipe and unit, but they want to go into the main. That's a lot of work. We have to. There's only 3 feet between the unit and the main part. If that was 25 feet, then I agree, we have to get into bigger size, so that's one of the things that I'm not afraid. The other company wants to put the second company,
Reliable.
no, reliable is the last one.
Certified.
Certified, yeah, what they want to do is they want to put, strainers into those lines in which we don't need a strainer. We can always have put the lines and just run it like I always do everywhere. So we don't need strainers. And the third company, Reliable, they've been working in the building for I don't know how many years, doing a lot of units. And when he came over here,
That's reliable, I see.
yeah, that's reliable. When he came here, we went through the whole thing. We don't need to went to names. We just want to run a adapter. And then put a fan time unit, and our decision is if it's gonna get way too cold, then we can open up another tap to go into the gym area, I'm sorry, to the bathroom, and do a little more AC over there, so, and they'll be here for so many years.
So you have a recommendation that we want with the reliable, let's see.
I actually went with them because I'm an AC guy too, so we put the rest together, and I think that's the best. And like I said, they do so much work over here, and they know that if they make a mistake, it's gonna be.
What work they doing here?
Sorry?
What work Reliable doing here?
What work are they doing here?
They're doing a lot of AC.
Where?
Individual people.
Individual people.
Yeah.
So how come we didn't use them for before, for the other things?
Because the big, for the roof, actually for the coil, that's gonna be a different company.
That's tying to the coils and everything. No, I want to understand, I really want to understand. I really want to understand what's happened with the AC over there. We spend money.
Over there where?
In the area where we're talking. We spend money in the gym. We spend money, we're going over here. We never saw this one before. And all of a sudden, this is, they're reliable, they're working on the building. We're suffering for years over here with the air conditioning, with so many companies. All of a sudden, this is the best. I don't buy none of yours.
So what is
I don't know, I don't feel comfortable. To be honest with you, I don't feel comfortable.
With this company.
I don't feel comfortable because if
With
you
this
read,
company.
no, I tell you, I read before I do anything. They are not the same.
What do you mean by they're not the same?
You're not comparing apple to apple. You just told you, this one wants to connect to this, and this one wants to put adapter and everything.
Is that
I don't
correct?
know what is the difference of
Is
them.
that correct? Because I don't understand these engineering technicalities, so
I
I.
brought 3 companies in here, we asked for a quote. We like the gym AC, that's what we received.
It's completely
So we need to have it
different.
done then?
That's completely 3 different proposals and 3 different solutions. And then this area been repaired about 6-7 months ago with a different company. I don't understand what's going on.
Choose the best company.
Okay,
I don't know how to
so-
choose. You can choose here. I give you. You choose. I
So
take your
what you're saying is that the
recommendation.
comparisons, we have 3 comparisons that are not similar. So at this point, Mr. President, I'm thinking that perhaps we need to
I
actually
have a question.
suggest to the manager. to
That's
actually-
my opinion.
Listen, let me ask you a question. Was there a request for proposals put out a request for proposal should put out the requirements of the job,
Right.
and then we judge on what they say they can fulfill based on price. If you have this lack of confidence, Mariano, I don't know if the rest of you, Mr. President, I would say the following: make a motion to prepare a request for proposal, put them out to 3 or 6 companies.
No, but you're missing.
No, I am not missing the point, Danny.
Okay.
Danny, I'm not missing the
You're
point.
missing the point.
This lady asked you if you
Yes,
knew.
he's missing the point. I understand.
Yeah,
what
because I
you're
don't
saying.
want to talk over me. Put out the request for proposal.
Why do we have to
And then
scream?
let the companies give it to you, so you can make a decision.
What I want to ask, what kind of proposal you want me to ask? I need engineer to tell me what is the repair have to be done so I can tell the company to give me proposal. Right now, I have 3 proposals with three different fixed.
So can we suggest in that process, that's what we'll get.
So I got engineer over here tell me this company telling me to do this and this company telling me to do this.
It's not true. It's not true. It's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's incorrect.
What he just explained it to you. He just explained.
Wait, please, wait. It's incorrect. The AC was not functioning, okay? So they tried to fix, and I'm not sure why we are not explaining. They tried to fix some month ago. They costed like $2,000. The fix didn't work. So they brought the ask to these 3 companies to quote for the replacement of the AC. So the 3 proposals are for the replacement of the AC. They are comparable. The 3 of them are for bringing a new equipment, getting out the old equipment, installing with permits, with 5 years warranty. So you can say, well, this one is 4 tons and this one is 5 tons.
Besides that, because this is, I understand a little bit. I was studying 200 years ago.
I have a suggestion. I mean, if we had somebody repair and we pay $2,000 for a repair, this company should come in and change it and deduct from the price that they need to change the $2,000 I already
Unless they
took.
give you a
because-
guarantee, that's not gonna work. Listen, I go there almost every other day. You have a certain amount of square footage. This is not rocket science. It needs a certain amount of footage to cover that. If you're not comfortable with the proposals you have, make a request. for proposal.
Can I explain myself?
Danny, would you please, before
Yes.
the lady asked you, you couldn't
Okay.
explain. Just put out the request for
He's
proposal.
not saying the same.
Listen, yes, we're talking about 5 tons, the same brand name Bosch are mostly the same. One, the difference is the second and the first one is a little bit.
A career of 4 tons.
That's it. A career for 4 tons doesn't work because I prefer something with 5 tons. So, and Bosch is a very, that's right.
Except you don't need 5 tons, but it looks like.
But if you have 3,000 there and you have the 1,000 tons and the capacity increase and a brand name like Bosch, that's it.
That's why I said, that's why I said.
No, but you're
it's
missing the point, Mariano, and this.
We are making something.
No, you're missing the point.
Explain your point, Danny.
You're missing the point. You have a very engineer telling you this company and this company going to put you this machine connecting this way. The other company telling you I'm connecting this way. That's my problem. My problem is with the connection. I tell you, this is a central AC with water and everything. And that's what we're listening to anybody and everything I'm going to pay. I want to know what is the right installation. Forget about the unit.
But he's telling that.
Okay.
He's telling, Danny,
Okay.
this is certified HVAC. The proposed connections they are bringing.
They're all certified.
He doesn't like it.
They're all
Like,
central.
This
All of them central, yes.
certified, yes, it's all the same because you have the pipes there. There's no way to
Everything
put
is to replace the equipment. That's more or less.
It's exactly like the
It's how
replacement.
it is, right or not?
Do vote for it. Do vote for it.
Gentlemen,
It is important that we understand the joint technical. What is it that we're not?
gentlemen,
Yes.
Gentlemen. Hello.
Manuel,
I have I have a suggestion. Rather than fight over these three
We're not
proposals.
fighting, we discuss.
Hold on a second. We're not fighting. Okay, discussing. And rather than going into detail with these three proposals, let's find another three other proposals. And hold on a second. And you do a point of comparison. Hold on a second. And you do a point of comparison because at this point, nobody knows whether or not the unit goes sideways, upside down, or vertically. So I think and I think there are so many companies that can do that can come up with, with other bids on the same unit, and you can do a cross check to see exactly what it is. At this point, nobody's comfortable with what's there.
No, I am comfortable, Manuel. It's not.
Feel
it's not like
comfortable,
that. Because.
Mariano, let me ask you, was there a request for proposal put out?
Yes. The
And
request
what are the parameters of that?
Yes, let me explain you what was the request for proposal.
Yes, sir.
The three contractors or vendors came here, inspect the area, see the area, well with the engineer, and presented a proposal that gives the, I know what you mean, I know what you're
Mariano, the request for proposal says what the parameters are of the proposal.
Okay, but you need to give them the engineer solution. And they are AC technical, so.
But
we
where is
need
the
to
request for
provide-
proposal?
The request for proposal is, I have this area, the.
That's not a request for proposal, Mariano, forgive me.
But we
I was in the
don't
military,
change
a
the
request for
cooling
proposal lays out the
To
parameters.
replace,
We are
to
not
replace
replacing the
anywhere.
cooling towers, and if we
I
wait-
understand, but
wait,
it's an air
wait,
conditioner.
wait. If we wait for another month, there's going to be neighbors exercising there.
I go there all the time, I've
Okay.
complained to me 100
Okay,
times.
so we're trying to find a solution. And
But,
we are
if your own members are not happy because there's not a
the only
request for
member that is
proposal.
not happy.
It's
is
me,
Danny.
it's okay.
Because let me tell you this, different people during the war, within the war, propose the companies, okay, ask this company, just to have more. So it's not that all of the sudden
I
disappear from the
respect you,
ceiling.
have your discussion, take a vote, but we should never spend money here, especially for, I don't know how many thousands of dollars without an RPF. This is basic, this is like going.
To ask for engineer to come here and do the RPF.
But you have an AC company to say, this is the space, this is what we need, and you can do an RPF, whether it's a 4-ton, 5 or 6 tons.
We have here, we have it. These companies are right here.
Mr. President, there should be an RPF, when we're spending thousands of dollars. You lay out the parameters, you don't say, I need a car, you say, I need a car with 400
Right.
horsepower,
That's
this
why,
brakes, air conditioning.
that's why Mariano said the procedure was, they come here and say, listen, we need, this is our Tesla, show me exactly what type of air conditioning.
That is not an RPF, forgive me.
My
Who
understanding.
wanted to say something?
Normally, from my experience in the past, 100% correct, an RFP is to make sure that you get the same scope of work from every company that's listed. Normally, that would be done in a little more expensive type of a project, like landscaping, for instance. Something to that degree. With reference to that replacement of the unit, I made it very clear, we're looking for 5 ton, although one of them insisted on giving a quote for 4 ton. They knew about the area, they knew about where the connections are going, because they all went with Eddie up there. So in terms of the specifications of what they need to quote me on, they were provided with all of that. It's not a large scope of a project. I kind of knew why the other company gave us the 4-ton proposal. It's because they're always very expensive. So they probably wanted a better chance on the bidding, and that's why they claimed 4 ton is enough.
Then they should be disqualified.
And they still came at a higher price.
50%.
So then we
I
should.
see, 50%.
So then these are not,
Disqualified.
so they should have been disqualified as comparisons, they are not comparable. And I think that's what that
But
is
they are
saying.
as professionals, Paul, as professionals, they think that 4 ton is sufficient for that area.
Yeah, but I don't think that the technicalities of what he's saying is before 20. I think what, if I understand Danny in the generic person, the lay person's mind is that we should have had a specific requirement that we need a connection to be on the left side, for example. Not to have some engineers give proposals on the right, some from the center.
I tell you, I'll be honest with you, I tell you why I'm upset. I tell you why I'm upset. For 3-4 years, or maybe over 2 years, both towers always didn't have air conditioning. Didn't have air conditioning. Everybody blamed each other. We took us almost a year to fix these things with completely different company, removing old company, and today to here I have a company reliable.
No, but forget it.
No, it's not forget. I don't forget. I remember. That's why I don't feel comfortable. I'm sorry. Go do whatever you want. I don't feel comfortable. With the history, with all this recommendation, whatever going to cost 2, going to be 8 in there. That's my opinion.
Danny, my love. Sorry for my love. Listen, very easy. This is too expensive. No. So now there are 2 new people that offer the same. We need to decide or 6,000 or 6,700, and that's it. And we finish. He came here. He replaced the unit, and that's it. Because everything is the same. They spoke the same, and that's it.
Julie, have a question.
Couldn't one of you board members, Danny, because you're the one that seemed to have the issue with it, have walked through with Eddie that day when all those people were coming in?
That's not my job. That's not my job.
No, but if you are the one with the issue, why,
I back up my issue, and I tell you why I back up my issue. You understand what I'm saying? I back up my issue because it's a stories, and I don't keep stories. You understand? I vote with everybody. I say we need the air condition because now it's a little bit cool. Summer is coming, and people want to enjoy. We spend so much money on this renovation. Let it enjoy. To tell you I feel comfortable? No, I don't.
Mr. President, may I propose that we actually reject this?
No, we don't reject. We need to do it. We need to do it. No, we don't reject it.
Here is paper. Sorry.
What do you want to be done then?
May I ask Eddie, what was the existing unit tonnage?
3.5.
Okay, 3.5, and we have 4 tons and 5
5
tons.
tons.
We have gone up. The old unit probably is not efficient anymore, plus we have added more heat load. We pushed the window out.
Correct.
Right.
More heat, that's what we need up to the unit. However, you have to be careful with the 5-ton units because now we need to increase the pipe sizes because that's a unit that has more air, more water.
We're increasing it from 3/4 to a quarter.
Just do it.
Correct.
This was the recommendation
So that-
of all of
so
them.
that
That is
here.
correct.
However, 5 tons, I don't know if they have done the study that, do they need 1.5 tons extra for that window?
Can I share something with you, because I'm there the whole time? Now, what we used to have a wall and 2 windows is now all glass, including there's a little bit of a roof there.
Right.
Yeah, and it does get hot in there. Well, I've been going in there, we've been out without an AC in there for months. I mean, it's really been hot. They bought 2 fans and they barely help. You have to leave the door open for it to circulate. So that may be the case. But if you'll forgive me, the only thing I ask is when you make a request for proposal, you should say, I need a 4-ton, a 5-ton unit with these specifications. And not just tell them and show them. Because listen, it's like if you put out a proposal for producing a fan. You don't say, I need a fan this big or this small. You say, this is exactly what I need. You give me the best price and you hit the nail on the head. I have no idea. I'm not an air conditioning guy, but I hope I can answer your question by telling you that it does get hotter in there than in the older days when the air conditioner was failing. Because now we have so much wall, and it actually is, it's tainted. I mean, we have the tints on all the windows, but it's like being in a hothouse.
Yes.
So you're right.
Remember, you don't have air conditioning
But
right now.
we are not educated enough to say we need a 4 or 5 or a 10 or a 17 ton. What stops us from deciding that? So just to finish,
Okay,
I
sorry.
think that the 4 or 4.5 ton or 5 ton may be enough, but we need to make sure we provide outside air because it's an exercise room, it's gonna be occupied, it's a public area for the condominium. That takes up tonnage. Plus the window, I believe that a 4 or 5 ton may do it, but I think we should make a more educated estimate of what we need. Going to a 5 ton unit also may implicate to put a smoke detector on the duct. That needs to be tied to the fire alarm panel, and I don't see any of those proposals here.
That's important.
There's one there already.
A duct detector and that 3.5 ton?
Yeah, there wasn't, yeah, what they did.
Remember, I'm not
That's
sure,
unusual. That's
I'm
unusual.
not sure,
Make
no,
sure.
no, I'm not sure there, but I tell you one thing. We have a brand new fire alarm system.
That doesn't mean anything, because
I
now you
don't
got
know.
an extra point, you gotta run over to that.
Danny, but if the
You may
engineer
have
says that we have.
$1,000, $2,000 of fire alarm.
Listen,
Give me 1 minute.
anything we do, we need a permit, they want to tell you.
I'll go with his experience, and that's what he does, business building
I'm with you.
inspections.
The engineer says that we have just have this, and we have the advantage to 5 tons. And this is it's under the budget. Let's finish and that's it.
Let's put outside air, the 5 ton with the duct detector, right? And I think that we can compensate the heat load on that window that the judge is saying, plus the outside air that I'm asking.
And anyway, we're
That's
doing it
small.
with permit anyway, we don't
So
go to
you're
start.
right,
with no permit.
I understand that, and that is not agree that the guy that we was before, and it's not so clear, no, it's another story. The story now is easy, it's 5 tons, and everything is clarified, we bring the guys, the two guys, they was connected with the engineer, he says that everything that you mentioned, it's on the, it's just do it, let's vote and that's it, and the judge tomorrow, but in a week, he will be very fresh in the morning.
If I'm not, I'm knocking on your door.
And you can invite to us also to use it, because it's not only you.
Listen, I made that point, you make the decision.
I don't know if Fernando wants to go also.
Which one you
Make
want?
decision.
Which one you want?
I feel, if I read the
It's
chief.
vote.
Which one?
One thing,
Yes, of course.
the one thing I've gotten out of this whole thing, board members really don't know which one for. Am I correct?
Yes, it's true.
What,
No.
say again?
The board members do not really have the technical knowledge to know.
I don't have to have, I have engineer in there.
But we really-
Well, this is my proposal.
Okay.
Ask him what he wants.
He says.
He says, he says, but he's saying, if you listen,
You're the one saying.
listen.
No, you listen for a second.
Okay.
I've sat here for almost 2 hours.
Okay,
You're the way you talk to people, doesn't matter who it is. You raise the tension in this particular room.
listen to me.
No, hang on a second.
Listen to me, listen carefully.
You know,
I didn't talk to you this way in my life. The way they treat me for 3 years, that's the same treatment they gave, and I don't mean it to you. You don't know what these people did to me,
Danny.
and I protect your building more than you, my
Hey,
friend.
Danny,
New board, new.
listen,
no
listen,
more.
let me explain, we
We
know,
have an expert over here.
We have an engineer here.
listen, and he's an expert, and I was.
Excuse
telling-
me,
Wait, give me 1 minute, David. And I.
Listen, guys, thank you very much.
I'm not involved, I cannot be involved because this is not my part of my job. What my part of my job is to bring the proposal. They both of them, the cheapest, these 2 guys came here. Everything agreed with the engineer that is involved, but that's it. We spent 2 hours for nothing. If everything he says it's okay.
yes.
One of these, we just finished with the story.
Exactly.
Okay, so I made the mention. Elisa, ¿quiere decir algo? Sorry.
Can we make a motion? Can we make a motion, please? Because, you know, we're gonna stay here till 11 o'clock.
Right, I make a motion to buy, to have this, that it's more the same for 7. Then, of course, all of this 5 tons of this, $6,000.
You want to do it cheaper because.
I second it.
No, but this is, I will add your recommendation with this one, okay, so with this one.
Say which one.
The difference is $700.
No, but which company is it?
Now, let me say.
The reliable air conditioned service of South Florida. Inc.
that is 6,750. And then the other one is Novos Electromechanical Inc. is 6,010. And
Danny, there's a motion on the floor.
certified
Danny,
HVAC. Certified HVAC is 9,187.40. And that's the one that is offering the 4 ton, the other one offers the 5 ton. And this one are Bosch, and this one is Carrier.
And most of them,
Bosch is the best. No, Carrier is the best.
not the same.
Okay.
To fight the five doors is.
Gentlemen, before we keep debating, there's a motion right now to adopt one
Right.
contractor.
Can
Is
we
there a
repeat the
second?
motion then, please?
Yes.
I didn't get it.
Who
What's the
made
motion? Who made the motion?
I make the motion to buy, you like this, Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay, if he likes this, I make a motion to relay condition service of South Florida for 6,700.
I second the motion.
Okay, who next?
No, you need to take a vote, right?
Who's
in
favor? I'm in favor, who is in favor? Manuel, Eddie?
I'm in favor. I'm in favor.
Okay, two.
I'm in favor, yes.
Eddie?
I'm in favor.
Paul?
I don't know what to do.
Oh, take a vote.
Can abstain?
yes.
You can say no, you can say.
I go with you guys. I was.
And Danny?
I'm not participating.
Danny not participating,
Abstain.
smoke. I love Danny, Danny said that he's a smart guy and he made it hard, I know it.
So just to, may I explain, really, it was, my apologies that, the way that it came across, it wasn't anything personal against you.
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
Danny has an extensive background and
I
qualifications.
don't have
in
a
engineering.
extensive nothing, don't worry about it, don't worry, it's over, man. It's over, don't worry about it, don't worry about
Okay,
it.
next one.
I apologize, sir.
I'm okay with you,
All
I'm
I'm saying, I
okay.
don't know what's happened in the past.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We should leave it in the past.
Right, we live,
That's.
we're not back to the future,
Finish.
we're going
איזה
up to
פיניש,
the.
כל אילך, כל
Gentlemen,
הכסף
let's
הולך
move
פה
to point out
חרא.
accountability next agenda.
אבל
The
צריך
most
לנקות
important
את זה
thing
לבד.
לא נותנים, אתה מבין, אני יודע מה אני עושה, תאמיני לי, אני יודע.
אבל אתה זמני יותר.
Yes or no?
אם
אתה
את
יותר מדי
את
זמני.
לא מבינה, אם תשבי פה יום אחד
Can we
במשרד,
move,
תראי
can we
מה
move
נפתח
forward?
לי ומה עושים לי.
Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to the president.
Next, it's only information, what we plan to do, and then we write here pay inventory. And then it's to make a long story short, we see that we have a lot of, plenty of dogs here, and we need to first to make order in the buildings. So everybody has a dog. We need to certify the dog, to make the picture of the dog, the name of the dog, the vaccines of the dog. And then we know exactly how many dogs we are, how many we have. And from there, we continue, depends what we found. Now, only in the office, it's only 35 dogs that is registered. And
אם אני
I
לא
think
שם,
that we have
על
more than
הרנוביישן,
100. For me, more than 100. So I know that it's,
אם אני לא שם ברנוביישן,
Danny.
$1,000,000.
you have a dog, Danny? We're talking about the
I
dog.
maybe need to do.
I have a dog and I registered it and I have my pictures and the
Nice,
vaccination and
I
everything.
love this lady,
Done.
but you know what? It's only 35 and for sure it's more than 100 dogs here. So
Yeah, that's right.
we need to clarify and we need to know exactly what's going on. So it's easy. We tell everybody, to the owners, that we make, we regulate all the dogs and that's it. And we see after that where we are.
There's 4 dogs on my floor.
Okay, let's not get into anecdotal. The requirement is consistent with the law. As legal, if there's no discrimination. I
No.
don't think there is. If there is, it makes sense. The files are already there. Let's put out a requirement and let's just ask people to comply. It makes all the sense in the world. Udi, you have the files. Everybody who has filed for a service animal should have already filed with the office because there's certain requirements. It's a no-brainer.
Yes, but you know why? It's only 35 legal and we have seen more than 100. So we have 70.
Listen, I don't know if we have 100 or 200. It's a no-brainer, as long as we don't do anything illegal. 2 points to remember. We got sued one time because of a previous board was discriminating. No, that's one. But a
They were not
second one
discriminating.
also cost us money when I was on the board. And a third one cost us a $25,000 fine because we had a manager and the president, and I'll say it with glee. Marvin Lebowitz was discriminating against owners of dogs. So let's not make those mistakes. I think Udi knows the regulations. I would just urge you to make a motion and pass it as long as we comply with all legal requirements of HUD and the American with Disabilities Act, and give everybody an opportunity, if they have a dog, to comply with it.
Right, that's
It'll save
it,
us time and money.
that's it. We don't discriminate, we don't know nothing, we only have, the only thing that we know, we want is to clarify, to know exactly.
And for the record, you're absolutely right. I don't know how many days I take my dog out that I find excrement out there that has not been picked up, that I find damages that are caused by pets out there that are not properly licensed or authorized. And I think the board is within its rights, and I think there's a factual basis for that. There's no intent to discriminate against anybody.
No.
If you comply with federal law, you're fine.
We comply, we sit down with Udi, we have the experience, we just spend money for the lawyers, I think, right? Udi knows all the story, we didn't pay extra money to any lawyer, the lawyer become Udi knows exactly what.
No, he's not a lawyer, don't put him in
Well,
practice. To practice law without a license
sorry,
is a felony
right.
in Florida. I would respectfully ask, Mr. President, that one of our distinguished members of the board make a motion, seconded, and take a vote on.
But what do you want to? Udi, was there anything else you would like to add to it, Udi? Any
Don't need to
input?
vote.
Okay, so I propose.
We don't need to vote for it.
We-
Then we can have an elevator for the dog without the pet. is the
Okay,
owner.
I'm sorry, no.
Go ahead.
Mr. President.
No, what's that, sir?
To have an elevator for the dog.
She means the
For
dog
people
park?
who are allergic. Like the
Yeah.
service dog will be reserved, the service elevator will be reserved for people with dogs.
You're right, why don't we put that on a future agenda to have a discussion on that?
Yeah, I don't believe we can. I don't believe we can.
You can't
Because
do
all
that.
and we have the lawyer here, he can clarify.
And
All
then-
the dogs we have here should be service dog or emotional support
Yes, we
dog.
want to have the cage.
So you can, because.
The
those
dog have
are
more
the
rights than
characteristics
us.
of the dogs. You cannot. charge
Absolutely.
them to an elevator or an entrance.
Well, let's, the lawyer is here.
Yeah, the lawyer is.
With all due respect, we're moving away. This is not an agenda item.
No. Listen, this is not in the agenda, the only thing in the agenda is to clarify, to put in a paper how many dogs at the end and the picture of the dog. But if you want, that we have the lawyer,
It's gonna cost us money, why don't we put this for a future agenda
It
item?
costs a lot of
But
money.
anyway, it's here, it's just cause it's not okay. Mr. Lawyer.
He's already here, so.
Right, it's a,
Mr. Blanche?
one lady wants to ask you something, go ahead.
Yeah, can we have a special elevator for people with dogs?
Yeah.
What is the question?
Yeah, let me ask a question so you can hear me. So the question was if we can put a rule where the pets can go only in one elevator or enter for one given entrance.
It's legal to be in the one elevator, let's say only the service elevator for the pets, or like, they can move in an elevator, that's it. That's the
Is it
question.
legal to do that? Is it legal to do that?
Okay, the answer is that if you're talking about assistance animals, the answer is no, you cannot do that. If you're talking about pets that are not assistance animals, then you could. So the question becomes, is it a pet or is it an assistance animal such as an emotional support animal or a service dog?
We're not allowed.
Okay, so then service dogs would have to have, obviously, since they have the
There is nothing you can do to discriminate against a service animal, he just.
we're
told
not,
us we don't
excuse
allow
me,
pets in the building.
excuse me, please.
Go ahead.
Nobody's screaming here. So,
We're
sir,
fine.
yeah, I mean, I'm calm. Sir, you were talking about the fact that it makes complete sense when you have a service dog, you have, according to ADA, you have full access, right? Makes 100% sense. As far as the pets, emotional support pets,
No,
you're,
no, no.
you're,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Anything that is the universe, like the greater scope of the category is considered assistance animals, which includes service animals, emotional support animals, basically any animal that is required due to a disability. So those animals, which I refer to under the very broad category of assistance animals, none of those can be mandated to go into the service elevator.
Understood. Got it. Okay.
This
So that's
building doesn't have pets. You created confusion, Mr. Blanch, because you said pets. Our rules do not allow pets here unless they're service animals, which some people may consider pets. So it's a bifurcation or a distinction without a difference. So the bottom line is what you said is, we don't have any pets. If they're service animals, if they're covered by ADA, if they're covered by HUD, you can't make a distinction or discriminate. That's the bottom line.
That is correct.
Okay, so.
So I have a question. I have a question. Okay, I think that the problem is not discriminating where the dog should be in what elevator. The problem here has always been the fact that owners do not pick up the dog's S's. And there is a company, and I think it was already established in another board meeting, that there is a way of detecting the DNA of the dog through their S's. Hold on a second, let me finish. One of the things that constantly comes across is that certain owners do not pick up their S's. That's been a constant here in Delvista Towers. So one of the ways to mitigate that situation is to have all the pets registered, do the DNA, and if there is a poop, is not a problem. They do a test run and they know which pet it belongs to. The fine is $1,000. That's the way it rules out. And a lot of condominiums, a lot of condominiums have applied it. And I can tell you, I can best assure the majority of the pet owners, all right, are on top of the fact of picking up their dog's S's.
It's not only S's, it's also P, by the way.
All right.
The P you can't do anything about. Hold on. The P you can't do anything about.
It's more expensive to do that. You're right. It is done. It's more expensive. Plus you have to have due process rights so somebody can challenge it, because all you're testing is fecal material and you end up in endless litigation. It's a lot better if we spend a lot less money and put surveillance cameras around the building for all areas where a pet could defecate. And we should do that because it reduces premises liability, which Mr. Blanch, who's experienced in that area, will tell you is a fomenting or a percolating area of litigation. Put surveillance cameras. So, Ms. Ayub, you know, I remember your family had a car stolen. We had no information other than to see it running out of the facility. If we have somebody raped out here, if we have somebody, a victim of a strong arm robbery, surveillance cameras are cheap. And they don't require constant laboratory expenses, and they will not require, it's evidence that will protect all of the residents. We have areas of viewing here, fields of fire, as they call them in the military, which are completely uncovered. We can have somebody come in from the golf course. We can have somebody come from either the south or the north or the east and enter our property and victimize a resident until we get somebody hurt or raped or in a vicious car accident out there. At that point, we're going to have premises liability because our lighting, as Manuel has pointed out, is pretty pathetic.
Okay, so those are different items.
Yes.
But we can table that for a next discussion.
Okay, but right, this is not now in the agenda.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you have.
Yeah, let's stick to the agenda, please.
The agenda is that we make what I explained before. I'm going to repeat again and again. The census, we make the census. We are not expert in dogs, not yet, but with the time, with the lawyer and with the judge, we become an expert.
Well, Mr. President, may I propose that when we make the communications, and this specifically for only that with the communications, that we need to scratch the word pet. Because this actually, we are a no pet building. And as Mr. Blanche would actually, this creates confusion.
Also,
So my suggestion would be-
lawyer, I would like to ask you,
The
we need,
reason that it says pet is because even an owner of a cat has to register the pet with us.
Right.
We're not
But
allowed.
we are no pet, building.
Okay, it's.
the only thing,
Mr. Blanche?
another question, we need, the people need to show the papers that is, that these animals are, ¿cómo se llama?
Yeah, the medical record.
The medical record, they need to show into the record, is it legal and non-discrimination at all, no?
You should be able to ask for safety records, and so the immunization records or the vaccination records for the animal is something you should be able to get.
But after, besides that, the certification, that is, ¿cómo se llama la vaina?
No, there is a medical record that the said owner need the assistant animal.
This
Well,
also,
in order,
this exists, this is a paper, how would decide that it's the animal is in that point?
Yeah, it's allowed or not.
no,
Listen,
it's not.
we've always required
Guys,
that for the last 22 years, and Mr. Blanche has dealt repeatedly. If somebody doesn't want to give it to Udi or the office manager, they can send it directly to our law firm.
No, but I would, in this paper that we show any dog, I ask if we need to add this paper that shows that is the pet,
The medical record.
the medical record.
Medical records of who, the patient or the doctor?
The patient.
Okay, they require a letter, Mr. Blanche has done this hundreds of times, that they require to you to certify the animal, either by way of a doctor, with a letter saying that the animal complies with the.
This paper you can add, it's legal.
Yes, and they can send it to the law firm. They don't have to give it to the office. They can send- Mr. Blanche, am I correct? Do you all certify those?
Perfecto, that's it, hay que meterlo también.
Mr. Blanche.
That's what we got.
Yeah, I'm saying, I would just, listen, when you put the language out, just have the lawyers look at it to make sure we don't put pets. We put animals that comply with the requirements of HUD and ADA that are service animals. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it,
So
okay.
we give
It's
it
okay,
back
it's
to
right,
the-
no,
So Roberto, any concern about this request for the inventory or census of the animals?
that's it.
My suggestion is let me work with Udi and your newly appointed legal liaison so we can do it in a way that is compliant with the laws. If something that you would like to achieve is of questionable legal position or is clearly not supported by the law, then I will advise them and you can revisit the process.
The most important is we want to avoid any type of discrimination, but we want to have the control of all dogs, pets, the title that you want, the fish, the cat, whatever is it, but to have a control all of them, that's it, from the beginning.
Do you need a decision or it's done with this?
This beautiful.
We don't,
Yes.
there should be, guys, hello. It's, I know that you guys,
Making a point, sorry.
you guys don't have a difficult time, but for us who are on this side of the call, when all of you guys start talking over each other, it becomes very difficult for us to make heads or tails out of what you're saying. So you need to make a motion and a second and vote in favor of having Udi and your legal liaison reach out to me in order to get the process going of the registration process for the animals in the building.
Hey, Mr. Blanche, one of our residents here made a good point. She talked about an enforcement mechanism. As of now, the enforcement mechanism has been to send a letter and a notice and to file a grievance with the grievance committee. So maybe that should be included in the motion also. So you have a mechanism to deal when somebody's violating, how are you gonna deal with it? Agreed, Mr. Blanche?
I mean, it's my understanding that there is already a record of active enforcement in the community. So, for instance, if an owner who is disabled has or is entitled to have an assistance animal, the fact that they're entitled to have that assistance animal does not give them the right for the assistance animal to violate the rules of the association. For instance, if the animal defecates on the carpet, if the animal is a physical threat or attacks other people, those actions are violations of the governing documents. And even if the animal is an assistance animal, the owner of the animal is subject to the appropriate recourse. And of course, circumstances will dictate what the appropriate recourse is. I don't think you need to include it in the motion. I think it goes without saying that we could include it in the notice that goes out to the community, but I don't think you need to include it in the motion of tonight's vote.
Well, there you have your answer. Make the motion.
That's it.
Second and vote.
Yeah, that was my question. How are you going to enforce it? Because somebody that has 2 dogs that are not registered, okay? What are you going to do about it?
Well, we're going to deal in a
We
case
see,
by case
that's
situation.
why we're seeking closure of the old story that we tried. I know, because I see one young lady with 3, so it's not 1, not 2, it's 3.
But she's allowed.
Yeah, but that's
She
a
has
philosophy.
She's allowed.
She's
She can have a horse.
If she's allowed, she is.
Yes, she can have a
Yeah,
pig.
it could have a lion.
No, lion, no.
No, I know, it's
No.
not beautiful.
You're not allowed. You can have a peacock, you can have a pony, you can have
A pony.
yes, you can have a pony.
So, I think
Listen,
Guys,
we're
let's-
gonna-
can we-
before we do
Bring the
it,
motion.
Paul, would you make the motion your more?
Please, let's make a motion.
I don't understand what we're doing, I swear to God.
Okay, don't worry.
You tranquilo, you will see.
I really don't understand.
I'm proposing that the motion for us to authorize the president of the association, Mr. Cohen, to be the liaison to contact our attorney, Mr. Blanche, to establish the appropriate legal language for the drafting
Including.
of the assistance animal inventory at Delvista.
I approve.
Okay.
Roberto, let me
I
ask,
second the motion.
I second.
But it's a motion, you need to vote.
I second,
Okay, who is in favor?
I'm in favor.
Favor.
I'm in favor.
Okay, Manuel,
Yeah, in favor. I'm in favor.
so everybody will write in the recording, everything we put in motion, we start to make contact with the lawyer and to.
Yes.
Roberto, can I ask you a question?
Yes, Danny.
The problem is, that's what I think. We have in the office about 35 papers for dog register. And I feel, and a lot of people feel, we have more than 35 service animal in the building. The security guard was sitting on the lobby, allowed to ask the tenants if the dog is certified, or they can show him the certification.
I will discuss that issue with Udi offline.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, the law is you can only ask them if it's a service animal. You can't ask them what the problem.
I just asked the
I'm
lawyer.
telling you, I mean, we're wasting time here, going over stuff that's going
Come on, I'm not allowed to ask the question, come on.
But I mean, this is a little bit late to be asking. this
Okay,
question.
so man, you know how much time it's spent for the business, massive. Everybody shut them out, you know, what's this?
All right, next, that was a motion made, seconded, and everybody voted in favor. Next agenda item.
I made the
Come on,
motion.
Raul, can you make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes, I make a motion to.
Not allowed to ask the question.
Okay, who second?
I second it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we'll say no, we'll say no.
That is too much.
Okay.
Can you give me